Hello, my friends. This is Jeannie. Welcome back. So, I thought I would share with you some thank you cards that I spent the better part of the day making, and not only just show you the finished cards, but I also thought that I would share with you the kind of finishing final phase of putting the card together after I completed all of my different elements. So these are the finished cards. These are the finished cards. These are two of them. We'll finish the third one together. And I absolutely love the way they turned out. So this is the front. And I normally don't stamp a sentiment inside my card, but since I knew exactly what I was using the card for, I went ahead and stamped one inside these cards. So the card itself is napkin that I transferred onto a heavy cardstock paper. The sentiment is a die cut by Lawn Fawn. It's a simple thanks die cut. And the stamp itself is from Stamping Up, and it's part of this two-part set called Beautiful You. It is an awesome stamp set. I used her. Here are both parts. I love the images and I love the sentiments. I've had this in my stash for a little bit and don't use it as often as I would like to, but definitely thrilled that I got to use it this time. So the first thing I did was I transferred some napkin. I had this beautiful napkin that I purchased from Tuesday Morning. I got a bunch of these. I transferred the napkin onto some cardstock, heavyweight cardstock. And if you're interested in this method, I've talked about it before and a few people have asked me to make a tutorial, but I'm not going to make a tutorial only because there's already an awesome, fantastic tutorial out there that I watched, and it's how I learned how to do it. It's a tutorial by Purple Cottage Crafts, and I will link her tutorial in the information bar down below so that you can check it out. It's an awesome step-by-step on how to transfer napkins onto cardstock using saran wrap and some parchment paper. That's all. And a hot iron. That's all you need. So I transferred the napkin onto some 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and the texture is absolutely amazing. It feels like high-end designer paper. It feels like fabric on the top. We all know it's napkin, but it feels like fabric, and it's absolutely amazing. So once I transferred the napkins or napkin onto the cardstock, I cut the cardstock down. These are not traditional A2 size because the image I wanted to use is so tiny that it was being dwarfed by the traditional A2 size card, so I cut it down just a tiny bit. So instead of being 5.5 by 4.25, these are when all is said and done, these are 4 by 5. So not much smaller, but small enough where I think it makes a world of difference in terms of the scale of my little lady there. So once I cut the card down, I used the scoreboard and my bone folder to create these little really cute folding cards. I went in and stamped my sentiment on the inside of the card before I did anything else to it, because I knew that once I started adding things to it, it would have some dimension and it would make it just a tad bit more difficult to stamp the sentiment. So sentiment out of the way. And I used archival ink to stamp the sentiment, black archival ink, for no other reason than it was sitting on my desk and why not? So once I had my base done, I put it to the side and I stamped some of my images. Like I said, I used this little lady right here. I stamped her several times onto some watercolor paper because I knew I wanted to use my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers to color her in. I love these watercolor brushes. Super simple. I am not an expert colorist in any way, shape, or form, but these are definitely foolproof and I love them. So what I did was I stamped the images using that same black archival ink, which is waterproof. It's good when you're using watercolors. I stamped the images onto some Tim Holtz watercolor paper on the smooth side. I went in with my Zig markers, my Zig brushes, and I knew, I had in my mind that because the base was in this kind of vintage photos sepia tone with the black, that I wanted some pop of colors, and I would use the dress for this little lady to give the pop of color to the cards. And I knew, I don't know why, I was kind of like in a purple, red, blue kind of mood today, so I used wine red. Love this color. Beautiful color. I used light blue, and I used light violet. So using those three markers or watercolor brushes, I colored my little ladies, each of them a different color. One had a purple dress, one had a blue dress, one had a red dress. They had the coordinating hat. I also used the flesh color from the set as well. Flesh, it's actually called flesh color. Flesh color, see that right there? I used that to just give her skins a little bit, her skin a little bit of color. There are no coordinating dies to this that I'm aware of, and I didn't want to be bothered with my scanning cut. So this is one of those rare, very rare instances where I fussy cut each of the images out. And then what I did was, when it was all good and dry, I went in with my Wink of Stella and added a little bit of sparkle, I don't know if you can see it, to her hat and to the cuffs on her dress. Once that was done, I put it to the sides, let it dry a little bit, and I knew that I wanted to use the Thanks die cut, and I also knew that I wanted the colors to perfectly match the dresses. So what I did was I took those same markers, another sheet of the Tim Holtz watercolor paper, and this time I did it on the texture side. See, Tim Holtz, well, most watercolor paper has a smooth side and then it has a texture side. See right there? When I'm stamping, I use the smooth side because you're going to get a cleaner stamp. When I'm just coloring, just for the sake of watercoloring, I use the texture side just because I love the texture. You know me, I love texture. So I just took that Tim Holtz watercolor paper and colored out a section in blue, one in pink, one in red, using those exact same colors that I used to color the dresses. Then I took my die and ran it through the machine and basically cut out the sentiment. You can see it. So now I end up with these perfectly coordinated sentiments. You see a lot of sparkle in there. It's because once I cut them out and I let them dry, I used my Wink of Stella to add some sparkle, which is also why I added some sparkles to the hat and cuff of the dress, because I wanted to kind of have them coordinate more so. Okay, then what I did, I wasn't going to try to pop up this Thanks because it's a super thin die cut. I could have cut out multiples and just stacked it, but I didn't feel like doing that either. So what I did was I decided to pop up the little lady instead. So I have some 3D foam tape on the back. Next, what I did Uh-oh. What did I do with my card? Let's find it. Oh, here it is. Oh boy, I thought I lost it. I took my card, my napkin designer paper, which I absolutely love. That's already been stamped. What I did when I was laying the paper down, I tried to lay it in a way where you can kind of see the Eiffel Tower on at least the front end of the card. I couldn't exactly determine where it would be placed, but I knew generally that I wanted it on the front flap of the card, which is why you see when I say I couldn't exactly place it, like here you see it there, and this card you see it up here. I have no control, or I should say I have but so much control over where the Eiffel Tower is, but I was just glad that I managed to get at least one on the front side of every card. And what I tried to do was, in laying the girl or lady down, I try to make it so that you can clearly see the Eiffel Tower behind her, so it wasn't too blocked off, and it kind of looks like, you know, she's a little tourist sightseeing, or heck, why be a tourist? Maybe she lives there. I don't know. But I didn't want to cover too much of the background because it is beautiful. So the final step, really, well, not final, next to final step, is to pop these on. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Like here, you see how the Eiffel Tower is closer to the folding end of the card. So I'll probably place her somewhere around here so that you can see the Eiffel Tower in the back. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I tell you I've spent the better part of the morning doing this, it's no exaggeration, and it is a testament to just how slowly I craft. But in my defense, I haven't only been crafting. I've had Harry Potter, the Harry Potter movies playing in the background, and I love those movies. So every so often I just kept getting sucked into the movie, and had to stop what I was doing to watch a favorite scene of mine. I absolutely love Harry Potter. So I figured, let's put this somewhere around there. So looks really cute. So I'm going to give that a little bit of press. I'm going to commit. Let's commit. So what I'm going to do is, it's almost perfectly flush, but not quite. So I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and just make sure that this is not bad. Almost. Kind of impressed with how close that one came. So there we go. Now that's even at the bottom. And that's what we have so far. How pretty. So I am loving this napkin transfer technique, and as I said, I learned it watching a tutorial that was done by Purple Cottage Crafts. Just did a little search here on YouTube and came across that video, and I found it was like the clearest, most concise video. I'm going to use my Zig two-way glue marker or pen to add some glue to the back of the sentiment. It was a super easy tutorial to follow, and I don't, again, see the point in filming when what I can do is just direct you to another channel that did an amazing job, and you can check out that channel. And I'm sure from what I've seen, she has other great project videos that you will probably enjoy as well. So I'm going to share her channel as opposed to just redoing what she already did such a fantastic job showing. So here is my sentiment. It has glue on the back. So what I did, I don't think I mentioned this, is once I cut this out and it was colored and it had the glitter and it dried, I went through with a black marker just to color the edges so you wouldn't see the white on the side. I just think that it's a bit of, it looks, you know, more, it gives it more of a finished look is what I'm trying to say. So I think we want to put this right about there. So I'm going to put this card down. And yeah, that works. That works. Give that a little press. I am loving the purple. I thought the red was my favorite color. Then I did the blue, and then I thought the blue was my favorite color. But now that I'm doing the purple, I think the purple is my favorite color. I love it. How awesome is that? So that is the front of the card, but we are not finished. You know me. I love my distress inks. So we are going to use some vintage photo distress ink just to ink up the edges and give this card a more finished look. Ooh, so pretty. So very pretty. I love it. So we're going to even add some to the bottom of her dress. Turn this over. So this is a great weekend. It's the last official weekend of summer, right? It's like, what is it, Labor Day weekend? Plus, I took a couple of extra days off because my Ella will be starting school next week. So I wanted to be home to transition her back into school, make sure everything's okay, make sure her bus ride is okay, get her on her homework and sleeping schedule without having to worry about my own work and having to prepare for my own work. And speaking of work, guys, I have to share this because I'm super excited. I'm sure many of you know, and I've mentioned it before, but in case you don't know, I guess you're about to find out. During the day, I am an attorney. I do civil litigation, to be exact. And I am admitted to the state of New York. But guess what? As of November, when I get sworn in, I will also be able to practice in federal court. So I'm super excited about that because now, oh my goodness, I love federal court. I love practicing in federal court. Well, I've always wanted to practice in federal court is what I should say. And I've been putting off getting admitted to federal court for a long while for no other reason than just sheer laziness. But decided, Jeannie, get your act together. If you want to practice in federal court, get admitted to federal court. So I applied, went through the process, and was approved. So I'm super excited. So I just wanted to share that because I like sharing happy news, and that's happy news for me. I'm super, super excited that I get to practice in federal court now. So yeah, I'm a federal lawyer. Oh my gosh, guys, I know. I'm so happy. I'm sorry. You probably don't care, but I just wanted to put it out there. But anyway, here is the finished card. I think the inked edges, it's the perfect finishing touch. So on the front it says, thanks. I love the pop of color, you know, with the vintage photo kind of sepia background. And on the inside it says, you're so awesome. So these are the 3 finished cards. I absolutely adore the way they turned out. And again, I'm going to link the tutorial on how to transfer the napkins onto cardstock. But as I said, super, super simple process. All you need is some parchment paper, some saran wrap, and a very hot iron with no steam. A pretty napkin and some cardstock, and you'll be able to do it. So that is my completed project. These cards are already destined for some kind souls who send me some very sweet happy mail. I know I'm slow in thanking people, and I apologize for that, but my thank yous will be going out hopefully within the next couple of days. So Thank you so much, my friends, for taking the time to stop in and watch my videos. I truly do appreciate it. If you are new and you're not subscribed, and you like what you see, subscribe, come back and visit me. I would really appreciate that. And if you really like this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Thank you, my friends. Until next time. Bye-bye.